His pharmacy has joined us as well. We want to talk to you because you're a seaside pharmacist, Paul, and you have loads of good advice for summertime for children. Do you get a lot of people into the pharmacy now who are looking for, they've got bites, they've got stings, sunburn, that kind of thing? What's happening there at the moment?
Plenty, loads going on with the hot weather. It's been a number of years, but what I have noticed this year is that people are getting much better at minding their skin. You know, it was the day a few years ago when we'd see a bit of sunshine and we'd all run outside with the baby oil and lie for days and soak up every bit. But obviously really damaging. Much fewer people getting burnt nowadays, so sun cream is a big seller, which is obviously really important for particularly
What if you
kids
do get burned? What can your chemist do for you?
Well, there are all sorts of things you can do. Paracetamol, obviously, for discomfort and pain, reduce temperatures and things like that. There's cooling gels like aloe vera.
Aloe vera, have a bottle of it.
Yeah.
Do you keep that one of those ones you keep in the fridge?
Yeah, anything cold, naturally. There's after sun lotions and potions, and antihistamines can help as well, because which can help with all sorts of other allergic reactions that are also happening this time of year, pollen counts and that. But it's to stop the body releasing histamine that gives us all these nasty side effects like sneezing and itchy eyes and all that sort of thing.
And you're down at the lovely beach, the surfing beach down in Tramore as well. What about things like jellyfish stings?
Yeah, jellyfish is happening big time at the moment as well. The water temperature coming up, so we've plenty of jellyfish. Just got to be careful of the ones with the tentacles in particular. So they're like really bad nettle stings. So again, antihistamines and topical cooling stuff, all that sort of thing.
The thing is, do you need to go straight to a doctor if you stand a jellyfish?
No.
Where would the first port of call be?
Well, I would always suggest that a pharmacy be your first port of call for anything. You know, if we can treat something over the counter, we will. And if we think you need a doctor, we'll send you to the doctor. And if we think you need more serious treatment than that, we'll send you to the hospital. So it's free advice. You know, we do see a lot of stuff coming and going, and we might have an idea what's going on. There's another unusual one at the moment we're getting a bit in Tramore is weaverfish.
I didn't think we had. I'm no expert. I'm sure the wildlife experts be jumping up and down, but I don't think we had a lot of those.
Seen a number of weaverfish stings. Again, they kind of little round flatfish sort of settle down in the sand a bit, and they have a little spine, and you stand on them.
So I'm a parent, and I've got a child who's screaming in pain with their foot. How do I know it's a weaverfish?
Well, you don't, I guess, but weaverfish will primarily get you on the sole of your foot, and you might see a little spot, a little black spot or something where it's injected with a poison, or might have lost its spine or whatever.
Would you pull the spine out or leave it in?
Hot water is the best solution for that. As hot water as you can possibly tolerate, it draws out the toxin. And the biggest mistake that people make when treating these is not use hot water that's hot enough, in fact.
So as hot as your child
as hot as you can manage, it's pretty rare, but it's just an interesting little one.
And what would you give them if they arrive with hopping into the pharmacy? What would you prescribe or give over the counter?
Yeah, really difficult again. So it just, again, hot water is
so you just give them first aid advice.
And pain relief and
one of those barley sticks.
Passes, make sure barley, a little lollipop, come back
their
again.
mind off it.
And do you know, we were talking there about stings, right? My dad down in West Cork, in Inchdowney, he's got beehives, and it's because of summer and everything now, right? I went down and I was taking photographs of him, hanging out with his bees in his big outfit, and I got too close. I actually got 5 bee stings on my face, and my face swelled up completely, and but my question is, what should we have done? Because one of the stings, actually I didn't see because it was so swollen, stayed in, and so it just kept swelling. So are you supposed to get the stings out? Some people are saying you leave them in, some people are saying you take them out. What are you supposed to do?
It's kind of impractical, to try and think that you can take out the sting, particularly of bees. You must have been particularly nasty.
Well, fine. How many is it before it's dangerous? That's what my dad said.
Did you deserve it? I mean, why don't you do it to your dad?
That's what my dad said. He goes, those poor bees are now dead, as my face swelled up. But anyway, that's beside the point.
That's another story.
But what the question is, what are you supposed to do if you get 5 bee stings? Do you go to if you got more than 5, should you go to the hospital, or how many should you get before you go to the hospital?
Yeah, well, I guess there isn't really, I'm sure that there isn't a real magic number on that.
Okay.
It's very much, every individual is different. So you can treat the sting itself, again, with antihistamines, and topical creams and cooling creams. But there is a very serious reaction you can get to bee stings called an anaphylactic reaction, which is where you're actually allergic to it. And that's life-threatening. You get a swollen throat and can actually stop you breathing. It's really emergency
care. It's similar to a peanut allergy or something
like that.
Where the tissues in the throat will start to swell. You'll have problem breathing and swallowing. And have you ever seen that somebody come into the shop and you say, actually, you're in trouble now, we need to get you an ambulance?
I haven't, but like that, I had, over the years, I have dispensed adrenaline injections to families of people that are known to have these reactions.
Is that something that sorry to interrupt you, Mary, is that something that the pharmacists and chemists do, adrenaline injections? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, but again, it's a prescription item, and there are self-auto injectors called anapens that have a particular dose of adrenaline in them that you would use to treat anaphylactic reactions. So if a parent knows their child has had one reaction and got saved, whatever, the doctor will write a prescription for it, bring it to the chemist, get it dispensed, and you have it there for the next time that might happen. So,
have you ever seen someone comes into the shop and you're looking at them thinking, actually, you need to go to a hospital now, or you need to go to a doctor immediately?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's straight. I mean, in the case of what I might have suspected was an anaphylactic reaction, I would send them straight to the GP, because they will have adrenaline. It's the nearest board to call. You want to get it as quick as you possibly can.
Are chemists and pharmacists doing more? And I know Damien on Liveline was talking lots about pharmacy and chemistry. We might get a couple of those topics as well, since we have a chemist in the hot seat right in front of us, the pharmacist. The scoop. But are they doing more of that kind of thing, administering injections for different things? Like, has your role increased over the last few years?
Yeah, it has broadened. Our role has broadened, and that's going to be the future, I think, of pharmacy, is broadening of services. The old model of pharmacy is kind of where the remuneration comes from is changing, and it's going to be all based on services that we provide. We saw it in the last 2 years with the flu vaccine. So flu vaccine is a prescription only product, but we're now allowed, obviously fully trained and certified, registered.
When you say that, I mean, you've done a number of years in college as a pharmacist, so you're a fully qualified pharmacist, you've got your degree, all that sort of thing. Do you have to go and do another training course to administer the flu shot, the flu vaccine? Absolutely,
yeah. It's a new category whereby we are permitted to administer prescription-only medicine, like the flu vaccine. And the idea being that it just makes it more accessible. You know, pharmacies are open from 8 till 10, and 8 in the morning till 10 in the evening. You can pop in without appointment, or preferably with appointment, but there isn't the waiting. So the idea from the HSE's perspective was to get the number of people vaccinated up that they require, that the at-risk groups like diabetics and people with heart conditions and over 65s, people who are at risk of getting particularly ill if they do get the flu. To get those numbers up. They were at 60% before we started doing it. The aim is to get it to 75%, and we see quite a big uptake on that. So
can anybody go in and get a flu shot, or do you have to be in an at-risk group to get it in a pharmacist?
No, anyone can get it now. Yeah, so we are, as I said, trained to administer the thing.
And how much is it?
It varies from pharmacy to pharmacy.
Give us the price.
So you're talking
pharmacy.
20 to 30 euros, something like that, depending on whether you're private, you have a medical card.
If you have a medical card, it's free, is it?
It's free, if you have an exemption. Some doctor surgeries, I think, can give it to a wider group, but in the main, pharmacies can give it to all at-risk categories.
And what if which
covers most people?
My fear would be going to you to get an injection. If something goes wrong when you're getting the injection, because people have had seizures or heart attack. What do you do in that instance? Are you equipped?
We are also equipped, yeah. So we're also trained to administer adrenaline if needs be. So in the case of an anaphylactic reaction that we spoke about with bee stings and that, so we're trained to administer adrenaline. I mean, the incidence of that is something like 1 in 2 million. I don't know anyone who has ever suffered with that reaction.
But you're ready for it if it does.
We're ready for it if it happens. We're also trained. I have an AED, which is basically a defibrillator. So worst case scenario, we're also trained as lifesavers as well. So,
the defibrillators, we could talk about those all day, have really saved lives all around the country, sports clubs, and how are they? Are there many of them in Tramore?
Yeah, well, I have one now. I think there was 2 or 3 in Tramore. Some sports clubs are getting them. I'm next door to a primary school with 600 kids, the Holy Cross School in Tramore, and I just donated one to them last week. A bit of obviously a vested interest in the school.
Yeah, definitely.
The parents' school.
That's a nice thing to do, though.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. It's a community thing. We're community-based pharmacy.
It's a pity you have to pay the VAT on it, though, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing that we could make defibrillators exempt from VAT, and that would be a little help, 23% help, or
Sure, my kids are going to be going there. The parents of kids dropping off there, they're great supporters of it. So when you're part of the community, it's nice to give something back if you can to the community.
Incidentally, if you have a medical card and you're getting a prescription, I don't want to get into the stuff that Lifeline was doing, because that's a particular thing. We're talking about different things. But how much is it for a prescription now if you're have a medical card? You have to pay something now.
Yeah, there's the government levy. It's €1.50 per item.
Per item. So if I've got chronic illness, I've got diabetes, a problem with my heart, I'm on a cholesterol tablet and a proton blocker for my stomach, I might have 7 items. So that's 7 1s, 7 5s. What's that?
It's 10.50.
I see how you did that. See, the merchant did that in his head. 9 something. See how I just counted it in my head and you had it. Yeah. So 10.50.
Well, there is a family cut-off of €19.50 covers a family
for a month.
So that's per month. So that's 13 items.
Have you found that people are getting less stuff now because of that? Is that a barrier to people?
Yeah, it's well intentioned. It's a government levy. We're obliged to collect it. It's like the plastic bag levy, so we're obliged to collect it on behalf of the government and we pass it on. It's well intentioned in that there is an awful lot of waste medicines out there. So if this can stop people from taking things that they need, that's the idea behind it. Unfortunately, it has been demonstrated that any disincentive to getting medicines has a really negative impact on the healthcare of communities. So it's the people that can afford it least that wind up not getting vital medicines because they can, the 150.
So somebody not taking their medication for a month might end them with a hospital admission, which costs thousands per day.
£2.5 a day, So this is it. And people you'll find are much more likely to take their painkillers off a prescription than their cholesterol medication because they get an immediate relief from it and, quality of life.
There's a couple of questions have come in for you to 51551. I'm going to give you those after AA.
RTE Radio 1 Traffic and Travel with